Hang on, Lois. I'm coming. Right on.
Another lovely day begins. Ghosts and ghouls with greenish skin. So close your eyes and you will find that you've arrived in Frightenstein. Perhaps the Count will find a way to make his monster work today. For if he solves this monster mania, he can return to Transylvania. So welcome where the sun won't shine, to the castle of Count Frightenstein.
Merry, merry, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Not as good as mine? You take the laughter from my life. Another completed day. It has arrived. Igor?
Yes,
You are late once again. Get rid of the raincoat and explain what you were doing. What were you doing outside?
I was outside, Master, in the rain, testing out my new water pill.
If you are outside, you are always in the rain. We know that. It always rains.
Yes, Master.
Pennsylvania. Which reminds me.
Yes, Master.
Igor,
Yes, Master.
raise the flag.
Yes, Master.
Now, raise it and sing the national anthem. I'll count. 1, 12, 8, 6, 9, go.
Gory, gory Transylvania, where werewolves and bats will always maim ya. The murky moor likely claim ya as we go stumbling.
I pledge by the sign of the three-toed sloth to do my best, to do my duty, to always obey the laws of the werewolf pack, and never to rest until Brucey once again lives and takes his place as of the most distinguished monsters, and I can once again return to that most goriest of all places, Transylvania.
As we go stumbling.
Oh, I love it.
Master, beautiful.
The cake. Kiss it. Kiss the cake. Kiss the cake. I know.
Again, Master.
I will too. Oh, I love it. Well, now explain yourself. What it is about a pill in water. Explain.
It's simple, Master. I, Igor, have invented
You know
a
your name.
water pill. For when you are in the desert and you're very thirsty.
A water pill for when
Yes,
you are in the
Master.
desert and very... Well, how does it work? I mean,
Well, I'll show you, Master. You see, first of all, you take a glass of water.
glass of water.
You drop the pill in the water.
Drop the pill in the
You
water.
stir it around gently like that.
That's how it works, eh?
And you know what you have?
What do you have?
Water.
Say good night, Igor.
Good night, Igor.
Far out,
An expedition Juana Clyde once led into Peru found just the sort of animal not seen in any zoo. This creature was a cranky sort. All he would do was grunt, but stranger still was his two heads with one at back and front. At feeding time, Juana Clyde was driven round the bend. No sooner was the one mouth filled than two would grunt again. But even worse, this animal was never sure of knowing, while on the run, if he had come or whether he was going. Mush, mush.
Oh, that's it, mate. There. Oh, that's great. That's a great sound. Love it, love it. Just look. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Oh, welcome. Let's have a hand for the band then. Oh, they play well today. Very nice, too. Hello there, and welcome to Zany Zoo. That's where you are, right here in Zany Zoo. And I am Bawana Clyde Batty, at your service. Pleased to meet you. Work out yourself there. Come on. Can't you see I'm talking to all the nice people here, eh? Mind your manners, please, even if we are in the jungle. All right, today we are going to talk about a very lovely bird called the cockatoo. Oh, just loves the Oh, I loves the cockatoo. It really is a fine, fine bird. Now, we're going to get to it very shortly, but I want you to remember that when I take my pictures, you see, the only way I hunt is with a camera. And that's the only way you should hunt. That's the only way. Because when we have it all captured on our cameras, we can enjoy it for a long, long time. Do you not agree? Thank you very much for your attention. Now, let us talk about, especially, the roseate. That is just one beautiful, beautiful bird. Now, I'm going to turn on my film here, and you're going to watch, hopefully, and listen as I'll give you the information. Firstly, I must tell you where they're from, and that is Australia. Australia, right down here in the outback. That's where they're from. Isn't that nice? All right, now I'm going to line up my camera, and then we're going to see the film which I'll have gotten together with my dear friends in the band over there. All right. Come on now, what's happening here? Come on, come on. All right now. Oh, here we go. That's much better, much better. Now the cockatoo. Well, they have crests which they can erect at will. Now, members of the parrot family, you see. Their name is derived from their call. Large, powerful bill, often compressed, sharply tipped. And now the bill is used as a crushing and extracting tool to open hard nuts, you see. That's why it's so strong, so it can get its food. Now, the roseate. Now, that is widely distributed over the interior of Australia, too. Now, grey back wings, tail, paler on the lower back. Throat and sides of face, breast, abdomen, underwing are a rich, rosy pink. Now, the feet and legs are black, you see. Now, the bill is greyish-white. Now, it can attain a length of 14 3/4 inches long, which is a goodly sized bird. Now, both cockatoos feed in open country during the day. I think that's very interesting, don't you think so? Right, right. Now, I want you to understand that when I take my films, I like to take them at the zoo, you see, because they're all in cages and you can walk around and there you can buy all kinds of peanuts and things like that. So why not you go on a safari to your zoo? It's very simple. You just get on the streetcar or whatever, go to the zoo and see all the wonderful creatures that there are to see. All right, I think that's about all for today, because I have to get out and get some more film for you to see the next time we get together. So this is Bawana Clyde Batty saying goodbye. All right, mates?
You're about to see the scariest part of the program.
If I told you once, I told you once. Don't call me a hippie.
Librarians are patient folk. They don't mind taking ages to read a book, although there's 600,000 pages. I know of one who sat and read the Oxford Dictionary. The thought of reading all those words is really pretty scary. I asked him, was it hard to read? He said, yes, quite exceeding, because it weighs 10 pounds, you see. It's pretty heavy reading.
library. And I am the librarian, and that is a bat. Get out, you bat. You're not welcome here. Oh, but you are welcome here. For I have tales of horror to tell you that I'm sure will frighten you considerably. Now, we have a very nice story today, entitled The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who decided to go off and each build a house for himself. The first little pig built a house made of straw. Presently along came a wolf who knocked at their door and said, little pig, let me come in." To which the pig answered, "No, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. The plot thickens." The wolf answered to that, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in. And did the little pig in too. Naughty, naughty. Now here we go. The second little pig built his house of wood. Then came along the wolf and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in. And the little pig also. The third little pig, he built his house of bricks. So the wolf came, and as he did to the other little pigs, he said, little pig, let me come in." "No, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." Are you frightened? Yes. Well, he huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but he could not get the house down. And when he found that he could not, with all his huffing and puffing, blow the house down, he said, little pig, I know where there is a nice field of turnips." "Where?" said the little pig. He's going to get him. "Oh, in Mr. Smith's home field. And if you will be ready tomorrow morning, I will call you and we will go together and get some dinner." "Very well," said the little pig. "I will be ready. What time do you mean to go?" "Oh, it's 6 o'clock. So the little pig got up at 5 and got the turnips before the wolf came. Clever little sausage. Oh, little sausage. Which he did. "Little pig, are you ready?" "Ready? I have been, and I've come back, and I've had a very nice pot full of dinner." The wolf felt very angry, and he said, "Little pig, I know where there are nice apple trees." The wolf told him where the apples were. And again the little pig got to the apple tree and home before the wolf. The wolf was angry again, and he said, "Little pig, there is a fair this afternoon." "Oh, yes, I will go. What time will we be ready?" "At 3, said the wolf. So the little pig went off before the time as usual and got to the fair and bought a butter urn, which he was going home when he saw the wolf coming. Then he could not tell what to do, so he got into the churn to hide, and by doing so, turned it around, and it rolled down the hill with the pig in it, which frightened the wolf so much that he ran home without going to the fair. Terrifying, terrifying. He went to the little pig's house and told him how frightened he had been by a great round thing which came down the hill past him. Then the little pig said, "Ha! I frightened you then. I had been to the fair and bought a butter urn, and when I saw you, I got into it and rolled down the hill." Then the wolf was very angry indeed, and declared he would eat up the little pig, and that he would get down the chimney after him, like Santa Claus. When the little pig saw what he was about, he hung on to the pot full of water and made up a blazing fire. And just as the wolf was coming down, took off the cover, and in fell the wolf. And the wolf shot out of the chimney like a rocket and was never seen again. Didn't that terrify you? Didn't it? Well, it terrified me. And Polly, too, I'll wager. But I grow weary now. And so the librarian says, goodbye until we meet again. Goodbye.
A shampoo? Or shall I rip it out, madam?
Beauty, beauty. Once again now, let's right across the old plate.
Careful, master.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But, master, why are we throwing the glove? You're supposed to throw the ball.
You mean you're supposed to throw the ball? I never knew that.
Yes, master.
You know something, Igor? This was one of my favorite inventions. Yes, I call this All-Star.
All-Star.
That is correct.
Isn't that like baseball, master?
Very good. That's exactly what it's like. I'd like you to take a look at the All-Star Monster baseball team I have.
Oh, yes. All-Star Monster baseball team.
That's correct. Now, first, at catcher's position, I had Brucey. Do you know why?
No, master.
Because if my pitcher was to throw the ball a little too high, and the umpire was to dare to call it a ball, Brucey would stand up to his full height, and what do you think the umpire would do?
Strike, you would say.
Yeah, that's right, he would say. Very good. Now, in the pitching position, I had King Kong.
Oh, he must have been a goodie.
He was great because he had such a strong arm. Anyone who can climb the Empire State Building with someone in their arm, that's pretty good strength.
Oh, must have put it in there.
Now, in the outfield, I had Dracula for one and the werewolf for another. I like a hungry outfield.
I could have been good there because I'm pretty hungry myself, master.
Yes, I know that, Igor. Now, in center field, I had the blob.
I know why.
Why?
Because he covered a lot of ground.
That's exactly right, Igor. Now, on first base, you know who I had? Plastic Man.
Plastic Man.
He could catch it if it was thrown from another city. It wouldn't matter.
Oh, he's got a long reach.
Of course. And on second base, I had the monster that devoured Cleveland. Do you know why?
Why, master?
Because he liked double plays and other big numbers like that.
Oh, yes, he must have been a good one.
He was very good. On third base, of course, I had the Invisible Man. Boy, did we clap them on that one. And the cleanup position, of course, was you, Igor. Because you've been cleaning up around here for some time now.
True, master.
And now, the only thing that puzzles me is the last position.
What position is that, master?
The shortstop. I don't know who to get for the shortstop.
Shortstop. Master, may I be permitted to make a suggestion?
Be very careful, Igor.
Of all things that move and move not, none is to equal those whose minds are set on the transcendent with determination and a high horse silver away.
Some oracles are wise, it's true. Instead of thinking problems through, they look into a crystal ball, which I think takes a lot of ball. You never know what they can see until you've paid a costly fee. But here's one of a different class. He'll answer anything you ask. The best part is he works for free. Because you see him on TV.
Hello there, and welcome. You know, some oracles are awfully superstitious. They say for every crystal ball I break, 12 years of bad luck will come my way. What they don't know, though, is that I don't care. I mean, what can it matter now that I have already accumulated 6,726... I mean, 6,732 years of bad luck. But anyway, Now we will find out whose lucky day it is. We must look into the mist to find out who we are going to talk about. Swirling mist, whom the gods have kissed, which sign, whose life will fortune twist? Ah, Aquarius. Yes, this is our astrological sign for the day. By Aquarius, I mean anyone who is born between January 20th and February the 18th. Aquarius keeps an open mind. This makes him an excellent conversationalist. They love to exchange ideas and express their likes and dislikes. Aquarius has a drive to solve the problems of the world, though he sometimes spends more time talking than doing. Yes, procrastination. That's a good word. Straighten up. Aquarius's worst fault is his tendency to argue, to convince others that his view is the best. If he carries this too far, he will finally find himself expressing wild ideas that even he knows are wrong. And now we will find out what the horoscope will say. Magic crystal ball. Tell me now. Tell me. Oh. Yeah, this is coming to me. Ah, Aquarius, take heed and listen to your horoscope for today. Practicality is the key word in all your action this week. Don't overlook the obvious and make certain that your plans are founded on realism and that your methods are not more than you can handle. Now let's see if the hoodoo agrees with me. Is there a spirit in the room? If there's a spirit in the room, does he agree with my horoscope for Aquarius? Let's see. Ah, there's an I, and a D, and another I. And there's the message. I didn't hear a thing you said, but I agreed with every word. You know, maybe, Voodoo, you got more brains than I've given you credit for.
You gotta be putting me on.
And now, letters. We get letters. We get loads and loads of letters. Shooby-dooby-doop. Oops. There's another. Oh. That's the first time I've ever seen a Kleenex box go crash. Oh, well. You got one more? Well, back to the letters. Dear Oracle, that's me. What is a voodoo doll? Is there really such a thing? Well, I will think on that. Ah, yes, indeed. There was, and indeed some people still say there is. Yes, voodoo dolls are made by a person in the image of someone they hate. Then by sticking pins and pointing objects into the doll, the maker claims he has put a curse upon his intended victim. There have been reports of this actually taking place, and of the victim actually feeling pain as a result. There is still a great deal to be learned of this practice, but one theory is that the effectiveness of the curse depends on how willing the victim is to believe it. Some observers feel that many of the victims died of their own fear, but then again, this is a theory. You know, if I knew what that spirit who bangs the gong looks like, I could probably get a little doll and then take my very sharp fingernails, and by pressing them in, I've hurt myself. I've hurt myself. Look to the stars, but I've hurt myself.
The Oracle better clean up that glass or he might hurt my pet's feet.
The Count says to stay tuned. Ooga booga.
Hey, and hoo, and how are you? This is radio station EECH, coming to you from the graveyard in the castle. And now, we got a real bull turkey that I think you're gonna love. Hello, I am the Wolfman. Moana Clive Daddy, how are you, babe? What's happening? You're kidding. Well, I'd be happy to. You bet. Looking forward to it. Take care now, here. Right, bye-bye. That's Moana Clive Daddy, and I may be doing a guest shot in his next show. So why don't you tune in and catch the whole thing? But right now, we're going to have a real moldy goldie from way back in 1970. And it's called Tennessee Birdwalk by Blanchard Morgan. So why don't we just kinda dig it?
Griselda baked a pie last night that didn't turn out well. It caught fire in the oven and gave out the strangest smell. But dear Griselda never lets such problems get her down and doesn't worry if the crust is black instead of brown. But even she had to admit that this one was a dud, because it takes a lot of practice when you're making pies with mud.
What kind of witch am I that never hexed a house? It seems that I'm the only one that no man has asked to be a spouse. That's off the top of my head. Ding! Woo! Come on into the kitchen and we'll see what's cooking. Isn't that cute? You know, they say Marlena Dietrich is the most beautiful grandmother in the world. They gotta be out of their skulls! Jake! Oh, sorry, this is my my best side. Something else? I would have sent him an 8x10 glossy, but it shriveled up. Okay, today I'm going to make something really, really groovy. You're going to love it. It's called Slithering Glump Fish Stew. Blech. Anyway, I have carefully prepared dough here that must be rolled into a flatness. I can't understand it being rolled into anything else. Then what we do is to take this dough, carefully prepared, and to gently put it into our little cooking bowl. Beautiful! A 10-point landing. Isn't that lovely? Then we add, let's see, dig, stoned wheat flour. Gonna love this. Now we just put in a little bit of this. Beautiful. A little lumpy, but it'll work. Then we must add a little more liquid. I love this sacred cow juice. It really swings. Beauty, beauty, Wow. Okay, and now for the last ingredient, which I will now head for. Hey, I want a cracker? Hey! Don't get smart. Okay, here we go. Now, what's left to use here? Oh, this looks interesting. Chicken fat. Isn't that cute? Chicken fat. Well, we'll just use the old chicken. What was that? You can't clean up the place around here? Now we just sprinkle the chicken fat directly in there. Very fat chicken. Now we baste the fish very gently. We won't be needing that anymore. And now we are ready to proceed to the cauldron. Watch it! And now cauldron, cauldron, toilet trouble, cauldron boil, and cauldron bubble. Okay, let's have a little tasty of that. The worst! I've seen bad and I know what's rotten. And that's bad and rotten. All right. Come back another time.
Careful, master. What are you talking about, Igor? Be careful. I haven't even made an incision yet.
Incisions, all the time incisions.
Don't you mean decisions?
No, master, I mean incisions. You're always cutting up. Very sharp.
All right, quickly now. Turn on the machine.
Yes, master.
Igor, turn off the machine, please. Come here, I want you to take a look at these hearts. I've never seen anything like them.
Whoa! You got to have hearts. Miles and miles and miles of hearts.
About here.
Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ha-ta-da-da with
Never
the
mind
heart.
this. Don't be so
Oh,
foolish.
you got to
Quickly, back to the machine. All right, Igor. Turn it on.
Master, it sounds like he has a heart of stone.
That's about right, Rocky. Sweetheart. No. Wait a minute. Now the Count has come up with a very good idea. Igor.
Yes, master.
I want you to go to the piggy bank.
Yes, master.
Bring me some pennies and a hammer. Because I am going to take the pennies, put them on Bruce's head, and smash them.
Master, what would you want to put pennies on his head and smash them with a hammer?
Don't you understand? I want to pound some sense into his head.
Here, as head of the family, I'm giving this to you.
Dr. Petvet's little place is really much too small for animals of every sort spill out into the hall. When rhinos get into the tub, he has to hold his nose, 'cause he'll be doused with water when the bathroom overflows. There's chickens in the pantry and there's cats across the bed. I wonder where the doctor finds to rest his weary head. He told me once that when it's time for him to hit the sack, the only place with room enough is the doghouse at the back.
What a weather, Dr. Petvet. Oh! Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Igor.
Oh, look at that one you brought today.
Oh, yes, this is the Eastern King Snake. And he has another name, too, you know. We actually call him a chain snake also.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, he's a beauty.
Does that mean he eats chains?
Oh, I hardly think so. He wouldn't link up with a thing like that.
Oh, link up that's all.
I call him Billy. Isn't that cute? Yep, that's Billy right there. Look at him. Isn't he just a gorgeous thing? Now, he can attain a length of 36 to 68 inches. And the record is 82 inches. Can you imagine that?
That's twice as much as an ordinary one.
Oh, yes. Now, as you can see, he's a shiny, shiny black serpent, and he's clad with large, bold links of white or cream color. Now, they range from South to New Jersey, and instead of black scales, they're smooth, good-looking serpents. You see that? Now, they're common in eastern seabelts also.
What's a seabelt?
Well, that's something you wear when you go to sea. Anybody knows that. Instead of suspenders. Now,
you're in good humor today, Doctor.
Oh, yes, I feel good today, because I'm with my friends, and I love my pets. Now, it shows a liking to stream banks and borders of swamps and frequents areas in search for its favorite food, you see. Now, it's a very, very good swimmer, this fellow. He's very good. Now, he's often secretive hiding places. Now, he's always under boards or logs or debris, and he may prowl by day, or especially in early morning or twilight. Now, hot weather, they're chiefly nocturnal. And, you know, they're also called a thunder snake, a swamp whumper.
Swamper? Ooh, look at him whumping.
You know, they'll live as long as, 9 years in captivity, and they eat very, very well. Isn't he beauty? Hello, Billy.
Ooh,
hello,
he's
Billy.
folding his head up.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cute? Yeah. And once they're caught, they just tame down immediately. They make wonderful pets. But you know, children should always remember, whenever they find a snake, they shouldn't handle snakes of any kind unless they know what they're doing, because after all, we have to be careful which is harmless and which are harmful. Now, this fella is harmless, so we know that about our king snake, okay?
Oh, good, and I could play
Igor,
with him.
I want you to have Billy.
Oh!
I know, ask the sloth. Always ask the sloth. It's too bad you can't have some kind of understanding with that fellow. Hello, Billy.
Mr. Sloth. It's Igor, yes. No, the count is not yet, but I wonder if I could have this friend. Why don't you wait for me to finish the question first?
I know, he's very rude that way. I asked him one time and he interrupted me in mid-sentence. Mid-sentence. You know what that means, Igor?
That means right in the middle of talking.
That's in the middle of talking.
Yes.
Igor, don't feel bad, because Dr. Petvet will be back, and I'll have another pet for you.
Goodbye.
Hope it works out next time.
Bye, Billy.
Bye-bye.
Billy, bye. Bye, Dr. Petvet.
Do not go away. We're coming back.
Hey, you know, I just met a mosquito with the best manners I've ever seen. He always asks his victims if they would like one lump or two. Definitely funny and definitely lunchtime.
The professor tried to figure out just why the sky is blue, which is the sort of problems that professors like to do. He built himself a tower standing 20 stories high and took a lot of photographs of blank blue open sky. He looked up at the sky for hours with lenses infrared and climbed down off his tower, clapped his hands, and slowly said, "The grass is green, the clouds are white, and they're part of my test. The sky is blue 'cause with the green and white, blue goes the best."
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls, and people? I am the professor. Julius Sumner Miller is my name, and we work and live in this castle and do wondrous things with simple things, such as a metal plate with a tiny hole, tiny weensy hole in the middle. And you remember the question we posed? We put this plate in our oven, and we heat it, and we ask, what doth the plate now do? Does it do nothing? Does it get bigger, or does it get smaller? There is reason to believe that it must do something, so that's out. Now, does it get smaller, or does it get bigger? Most people say the hole gets smaller, which is wrong. The hole gets bigger, and that's wonderful. There are many reasons I could give you for that, but I'll give you one which should be enough. You remember we had the ring, which was a plate with a big hole, and the hole got bigger. Now, is a small hole going to behave in a different way than does a big hole? No, all holes in metal plates, which expand when heated, get bigger. Indeed, I'll put it another way. The hole behaves in the same way it would behave if it was filled with the stuff which is not there. Hey, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? The hole behaves just as if it was filled with the stuff which is not there. Phooey. So the hole gets bigger. Now I have another question. You see, it all bears on my first question. Do you understand what happens there when it is heated? Knowing is one thing. To know is one thing. But to understand is quite another. And I cannot condemn you if you do not understand it too well, because it has taken me half a century to understand it. So I'll give you a few years to do better than I have done. Next question. Consider this a perfect circular ring. Notice if it's circular, it's perfect. The language is redundant, but I want to emphasize its perfection. It is a beautiful circular ring, and it has a diameter of its own stuff. I put it in my oven and heat it. Wait, take it out. Question. Does the ring retain its circularity, or does it warp? Does it retain its circularity, or does it warp? I'm going to tell you for free, out of the kindness of my wounded heart. It retains its circularity, although many of you have already answered that it would warp. Some more on this business of expansion and such. Here is a metal bar made up of two metals brazed along their edge. Iron on one side and brass on the other. I'm going to label this side here so. Brass. Iron. I'm now going to heat this in the flame. Question, what does it do? Answer, it cannot retain its uniformity in length because the brass has a different coefficient of expansion than does the iron. It has a higher one. Accordingly, it must take the outer side of the curve, and I say this will bend to my left. And aren't some of you hoping and praying that I am wrong? Yes, you evil creatures. I say it bends to my left. Oh, there it is. Give me a small hand, because for once I was right. And thus concludeth our commentary on matters of expansion in metal rods. Question, what would happen if I put this in a bed of ice? Oh, in a bed of ice, it would go the other way, a consequence which you have already encountered. And now we will return in our next program to some further discussion of the push of the air, which we have encountered already with the so-called but wrongly called suction cups. And I shall see you later again.
Which way is it, the Transylvania?
Back in a moment, I think.
You know your zoo visited, eh?
Hey, get it together. Don't forget to write me, and you know who that is. I am the Wolf Man. Yeah.
The castle lights are growing dim. There's no one left but me and him. When next we meet in Frankenstone, don't come alone.
The show's definitely over.